All right, welcome to our latest in our review series. Where me and the homie ObieTriceKenobi gives y'all the straight dope on some of the more popular releases that we have. Numero dos of many more to come. But this week we got Rick Ross with his newest album, Set in Stone. I forgot what number. This is probably like number 10 or like he got quite a long discography. I didn't count them all, but one of many releases that he has, and the most recent in 2026 as a veteran in the game. Obi, how are you today, bro? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to talking about this album. I've been listening to it a lot, honestly, and preparing for this conversation. And yeah, I should have looked up what number this is because yeah, it's
Yeah,
got
me
to
too.
be album 10. I would imagine. I'm gonna look right now. One, two. Yeah, I mean, we're 10 plus for sure,
Oh, for sure, for sure.
and
Not
that's
even
not even
including
including
mixtapes.
mixtapes
Damn.
exactly. So
The
there
collab
we
album.
go.
One of those collab albums I don't even want to think about, but quite a
No, no,
long
no.
history of releases from the Miami legend. So the first track we'll go right into it is Caviar Bumps. This is the intro track. I gave it a I, better than a standard intro. I think the beat was banging. It was a very good beat to me. He does let the beat slide a lot on there. I can forgive it for an intro track, you feel? And it's a good beat. So he let it slide a lot, but that maybe, kept it from being a bang. If you come in with an intro track that's a banger, then I'm like, oh yeah. But it was all right, man. Nothing much to say about it. Just Ross rapping over a pretty slick beat. So what do you think about Caviar Bumps, bro?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also gave it an I. It's a good start to the album. It's funny that you said that because I saw you tweet something like that out, like
Mhm.
about, and I thought, and then when I was listening to the album, I thought, is this the song that he was talking about? Because it's the same shit
Exactly.
applied, right? So, it was a good start, not blowing me away, but like definitely not something I need to like skip over, right? So as I was listening through and the album would end and restart, I was totally fine with having Caviar Bumps, come on again. So. Um,
Facts.
let's get into the next track, which is Mahogany Caskets featuring Ti. All right, I gave this one. This is a little bit of a toughie for me, so because
Ooh.
it's right on that edge. I gave it an I, but I
Right,
wouldn't. I could be argued into banger. I think I think
right.
it's a solid track. I've liked better collaborations between these two. I always take it back to Pledge Allegiance. I don't know if you've heard that from like the No Mercy Ti days. That's a banger. This is a good song. That beat just got a little bit of that rock and roll in it a little bit. That I'm just a little bit mixed on. It's almost like a Rick Ross, Marshall Mathers LP2 throwaway type of beat to me or something like that. Like I don't know. Did I say Rick Ross? I meant Rick Rubin.
Yeah,
Like a Rick
there you
Rubin,
go.
Marshall Mathers 2 throwaway beat. So it was
Yeah,
all right. But yeah, I can't give it the banger status.
yeah, I actually agree with you on many of those criticisms you have of it. I gave it a right to start it off. And I know a lot of people will probably, rank it as a banger, particularly as one of the lead singles of the album. But to
Yep.
me, and Ti spitting on this motherfucker. Don't get it wrong. I think
Oh
both
yeah,
of them
yeah.
are doing a great job as far as the lyrics and things. I just think that like honestly the light 50 Cent jabs was kind of off putting to me a little bit. I feel like if you're gonna come at somebody, just come at it. If y'all's gonna make a diss track, just make a diss track. You feel me?
Yeah.
So to me, that kind of actually downgraded it a little bit to me. It's like, bro, I don't like light jabs. Throw a hook, throw uppercut
Right.
if you're gonna go that route. So that's
Be
kind of
direct.
why I unranked. The beat was alright. I mean, it fit for what they was trying to do, but like I said, I just got off put by the light jab. I don't like subliminals. I don't like little throw that uppercut. You feel me? If y'all gonna go that route. So that's why I gave it a
Yeah.
I. But there's nothing else on that one. I got Minks in Miami, number 3 track, French Montana, and Max B. I gave this one a slight banger. I leaned banger. I was stuck in between I and banger. I think it's a kind of that good. The beat is decent, right? It's a good sample. It's not much you can do with that type of sample, right? It didn't off put me too much. I think the hook was a bit phoned in. I know Max B supposed to be the hook king or whatever, but the hook didn't really draw me in, like that. The only reason I even went slight bangers because French is actually probably spitting better than he's spit in fucking years. like to me, his French has always been like a below par level. No disrespect to him, level rapper. It's more about the vibes and stuff. I don't know if Max getting out like fucking elevated him or motivated him.
It seems to have.
Yeah, so I gave it a slide. I linked banger. So what you think about Minks in Miami?
Nice. Yeah, no, I definitely had that as a banger, to be honest. And that's like since day one, the first time I heard that song, like a couple weeks back before Mahogany Caskets with T.I. and all that. Now, that said, I do agree with you that the hook is kind of mediocre on it, especially compared to like, I think the beat is pretty good. I like that beat. I thought French did great. I think Rick Ross did great on it. But yeah, that hook is holding it back just a little bit. There's been some other tracks from French and Max lately that have been better as far as like hook at least. But I still had this as a banger, and yeah, it's one I've been listening to since I first heard it. So yeah, that one's a banger for me. Now let's talk about my first non-banger. All right, let's get into Face Down featuring Rich the Kid. All right, this is this is a skip for me. What can I say? Rich the Kid ruined what would have been a totally all right song. Like, it could have been totally fine. And I thought Rich the Kid just fucking ruined it with his part. But then he like is dropping the ad libs throughout, and like it's not like a single moment on the song. It's he ruined the whole song. So congratulations to him. That's impressive. He took over the whole track and fucked it all up. And that's a big old skip from me. So, what do you think, D?
Oh my God, I agree with you. I did go all right, man. Just because the beat is so fucking banging, like I can tolerate the like what the fuck, the yodeling or whatever the fuck he got going on.
I couldn't. Yeah. No.
So it reached ridiculous levels of hilarity on the hook. On what could have been a banger song. Like, the beat is that good that this could have been a fucking banger to me. And Rich the Kid just came through, and I don't know what the fuck he was doing. And the only reason I even went, I was going skip. I went because the dumb shit kind of got stuck in my head, and I found myself like it. But like even then, I think that like the beat was so good on this, it could have been a possible like a radio friendly type of song, but it's so fucking just vulgar and funny,
right?
So it's like just repeating face down, ass up. So yeah, Rich the Kid, bro. Nah, man. I would even fucking if it wasn't already released in a major, like it was like an independent artist, I'd be like, go re-record that shit and re-release it. That's how good. But it is what it is. So yeah, I think we agree, man. Rich the Kid, bro. No, man. Next up, we got Ring Around the Rose featuring YFN Lucci. I actually gave this one a banger. Even YFN couldn't fumble this fucking beat. And I think that's kind of a theme throughout this release to me, is that Ross has an ear for beats. I don't think it's a bad one on this. And so YFN kind of been that last fucking album he did was terrible to me. I think he was good enough for me to just like lean this to banger. For me, it's just a good beat. I think it was a good verse from Ross. YFN didn't fuck it up, so I went banger. What do you think about Ring Around the Rose?
All right, yeah, I mean, I agree with you that there's probably no bad beats here. There's a couple that I might like, I like a little less, or whatever. But generally speaking, undoubtedly Ross has an ear, and everybody knows that.
Right.
This song, also a banger for me. I totally agree. YFN held his own here. I thought he did I'll even say he did a good job. Yeah, no, he did a good job, because I agree. I heard some of that last album. I didn't even do the full review. I just couldn't get through it enough time. Like, it just was, I got through it, but not in the way I couldn't get enough to write about it. So, so I was surprised, and this is a banger for me. And I wrote, this starts the best run of songs on the album. I don't know about you, but this, for me, there's a couple songs here in a row that are good to great, I'll say. So let's get into the next one, which is Camel Meat, which has Dion Cole. I don't know if you know him well or not.
Baby, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I what I was thinking. Yeah, I love Deion Cole, so I was happy to see him here. He gave a great intro and outro to that song, and I gave it an eye. It's one of those. It's a little bit on the edge, right on that banger edge for me. I don't know. There's just something about it that just holds it back just a slight bit, where it's like, this is a really good song, maybe even very good. It's just not cracking that like great banger status for me. Not one that I would skip by any means, though. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Damn, man, we in a row. Good song, just something I've heard before from Ross. That's the problem, you know.
Right.
It's just something that already is in his discography. I love the intro and outro from Deion Cole, hilarious.
Yeah.
So salute to him for that. But like I said, it's a good song. It's just something that's not elevating. It's something missing there. I can't tell you exactly what it is. Like I said, maybe it's just the discography is kind of hurting Ross, and I'll go into that later. But you know, just you've got too many bangers after bangers, so it's just something I heard before, but nothing I'm skipping. Definitely something I'm turning up when I hear it. You feel me?
Yeah.
And definitely laughing at Deion Cole's moments. So
right, yeah.
Next up, we got Maybach Music. What's this, number 7? Featuring
Yes,
Jeezy
sir.
and Don Toliver. I gave this one an eye as well, just because I've heard better Maybach musics. Simple as that. I kind of got to grade him on a curve. Jeezy spitting. Jeezy is on a great run. Last few features I've heard from Jeezy are fucking off the chain, and I guess this holds a little bit more significance because they did have a little bit of beef. They long since buried the hatchet since then, but it's always nice to hear people like squash the beefs, particularly two legends like that, and still make good music. So I gave it an eye. I think it's a pretty good song. Don Toliver hold his own on the hook. It's nothing groundbreaking though. So I just gave it an eye. You know, what you think about Maybach Music VII?
Yep, I'm right there with you. I gave it an all right. It's close to a banger for me. It's like, I do really like it. I would say that it's not the best Maybach music, but it's also far from the worst. There's been a couple out there that I've been like, man, not hitting for me at all. This one's hitting for me, and I also think it's one of the better Jeezy Ross features since the beef ended. Personally, I'm not saying there's no better ones, but I think it's in the top. I think the other day I posted up a tweet that nobody paid attention to. Totally fine. But it was asking people what the top Jeezy Ross, what they thought were the best collabs since then. And I would say this is in the top 3 out of like the 6 that I had posted, you know, which were all, if I'm not mistaken, post beef. Maybe there was one before then, but yeah. I thought it was all right, but on that edge, a banger, because it was a solid track. I thought Jeezy was good. I thought Ross, like Don, Jeezy, Ross, everybody did good work. It just, like you said, you're grading it on a curve, and I know there's better Maybach musics out there, right? So it's kind of tough to like, it's not hitting on the same level as some of the other ones, but still, good song.
Good song.
So let's get into this big boy track. All right, we're talking about Living Large featuring Big X the Plug. You know, I got this down as an all right, another all right, but like a solid all right. You know, not it leaning more towards banger than skip, although I wouldn't call it a banger. It's just kind of like a bouncy, fun, almost simplistic beat to a degree. That but you know, these two big guys, it's kind of fun to see them together to a degree. I can't lie. And yeah, it's just not really like blowing me away, but it adds well into this run that I'm talking about. Of like, these are some solid tracks in a row now that we got, like Ring Around the Rolls, Camel Meat, Maybach Music, Living Large. Like, I'm not skipping any of these songs. So it's an all right for me, but in a good way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Agree. I have it as all right. That Mr. Big sample, Mr. Big. You can't go wrong with 8-ball MJG sample, dog. I'll put it there.
That's true.
Although that does bring the problem. Like, okay, if you're gonna sample a classic 8-ball MJG song, you better fucking knock it out the park. It was good. Right. You feel me? But you know, it wasn't nothing that's killing it for me. Big X, this is kind of his lane. He loves those classic samples, those out of the park, more so the soulful beats, but this is right in his lane. So I think that was actually a good pick to have as a feature. Just the song
absolutely
just wasn't a banger, but I mean, you need songs like this in the album that just kind of get you to the next song. It's good. It's nothing you want to skip. It keeps within the flow of the album. So I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? At this point. So that's what I gave it. The next one we got up, Purple Fentanyl. Um,
Yeah.
great name, huh?
Yeah.
I did go slight banger on this one, right? This is one of those ones where the car test saved that task. This to me is a parking lot killer right here. If you have some 12s and you're in parking lot, the people I know, if you don't want to pay to get in and you just kind of get in the parking lot and turn the fucking bass up, this is one people gonna walk by and nod it. This is a head nodder. Bouncy melodic flow. There's nothing particular great about it. The lyrics aren't that great or nothing like that, but it's just something about it that makes me nod the head. So I went slight banger. It's nothing that's a classic, or it's nothing that's super duper great about it. I just like the fucking beat and I like the way he flowed on it, so I gave it slight banger. I lean banger. What do you got for Purple Fentanyl?
Yeah, all right. I don't think it's a classic song, but I do think it comes with like a classic Rick Ross feel, right?
Yes.
It kind of reminded me of almost like the Teflon Don type of time. I have this marked down as a banger. Like
Okay.
you, I might even go above slight banger. Like I think this is a solid song, and this starts the mark of like my top. This is towards the peak of the album for me. Let me just say that. So I totally agree with you. That beat is carrying a lot of weight, but you know what? It did it well. So
Yes.
this is a banger for me, and yeah, one of my favorite songs on the album. And even though it's got a title that I don't know how much I could type in or say, or without getting blocked on certain social medias. Yeah. So, but following that is my top track on the album, my favorite, number 23. I got that marked as a banger. All right, and I said this is either the best song on the album, or if not, because I do like Minks in Miami, this is the best like cut on the album. Like that's not a single, but I did write down that it maybe should be a single. I think this has potential to get some good numbers and to get some good to get on a nice roll here this summer. If you get a video out that's catching people or something, but I know I've seen some mixed reactions to this album, so I'm not sure if people are going to be open to that idea at this point or not. But for me, number 23 is a banger. What do you think?
I actually went all right on this. I don't love it as much as you do. I do think it's a good song. But it felt a little bit more filler to me. I don't think it's
Okay.
a super huge song. Ear for beats. The beats banging.
Yep.
And 23 is no exception. You feel me? It just, once again, just like the previous song we talked about, it just wasn't something there that got it to that next level for me. I can understand it, you loving it a little bit more than me. It's not a bad song by any stretch of the imagination. It just wasn't enough there for me to say it was a banger, so I gave it an all right. So, but I agree with much you said, though. I agree it does. It is one of the songs that does even have potential to be a single, so I can agree with you on that. Next we have Porsche GT3 RS. Is that the name of this shit? I went banger. To me, it's simplistic, but it just works for me. It's a head nodder. You feel me? So okay. I can't be mad at it. These are another one of those parking lot songs that I fucks with. You feel me? So I went banger. Nothing too particularly too great or bad about it, but it gets me to nodding. So hey, what you think about it, bro?
All right, yeah, no. So for me, this is like one of the major skips on the album.
Oh shit!
Yeah. To be honest, it's just that vocal inflection that he does, right? Like he does a little ski, like that shit. Like, oh my god! And hey, listen, I've even been saying and thinking, if it was just the hook, now I'm fucking with it. Okay. Now I like it. Okay. It's just that he does it through the whole verses too, and that's when it just caught me a little. It's like, okay, it's went overboard. It's too much for me now. Like you overdosed me on it. Like, so if he'd have just cut it out of the verses and kept it in the hook, I might be there with you on the banger. I'd have to tune my ear and my brain to think about it, but it would definitely be all right. That's for sure. It's not a bad song. It's just that. It's how much can you tolerate that little vocal thing he's doing, and for me, I can tolerate it enough for the hook for sure, but it's just too much for the verses for me. So that's unfortunately a skip, but I see where you're coming from because it's got something in there.
It's fair.
Next, we're talking about City Lights featuring The Dream. Now, personally, this is another skip. We got 2 back-to-back skips for me. I kind of appreciate the like Miami vibe of it. right? To a degree. I've never been to Miami, but this is what I imagine some music would be playing if I'm like riding around, right?
Right.
But generally, this might be the weakest beat on the album to me, personally. And I didn't think the Dream really elevated it. The Dream for me kind of is like a 50-50 artist where when I see his name, I get a little nervous, and it can either like be like, oh damn, he killed it, and I loved it. And there's other times when it's like, damn, he kind of Rich the Kid did this song. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say he ruined it, but he just didn't elevate this one. This was a 50-50 song from a 50-50 guy for me. So yeah, I'd say this is a skip, although it's one that if I can't reach my phone to skip it, I'll live. Does that make sense? So what do you think?
Yeah, and this is to me is like Ross version, the Ross Miami version of a ladies track. You feel me? This is that South Florida ladies track. Personally, I think like, and I went just FYI, I went on it. Okay. I personally think The Weeknd, it sounds like a Weeknd beat to me, bro. Like for some reason, I was thinking all the time, like The Weeknd might elevate this to a certain level. No disrespect to the Dream, who does his thing and is a legend in his own right. But yeah, I agree with you that this has a very nightlife Miami feel. And if that's like not your bag, of course, maybe I have a little Florida bias because I'm down here these days. But I gave it an eye to me. It could have been better. It wasn't nothing that was terrible. I'm not particularly, depending on my environment, who I'm with, I might let it ride out. I might skip it if I'm by myself. So, but I can respect the Miami-ness, the Florida-ness, the regionalness of this song. So I gave it an all right. Okay. Next up, we got Chain of Command featuring Nino Breeze and Big Tony. I gave this one an all right. This is probably closer to that gritty Rick Ross that we kind of seen on Port of Miami. To me, he threw in Nino Breeze, who's another Florida native. Big Tony, I think, coming out of Houston, Texas somewhere. So I can appreciate him bigging up the upcoming artists. I think Nino Breeze's verse was probably a little bit better than Big Tony's. You'd feel me, but I can understand. I can appreciate, particularly as a platform that kind of champions independent artists, throwing some reaching back and throwing some artists to get featured. That's kind of what they feel like to me. It's more so like, okay, I'm gonna throw a gritty track on here, feature 2 artists that's upcoming. So, but it's nothing too particularly great about it. It's just a nice gritty street track. So I gave it all right. What you got for Chain of Command?
Yep, I also gave it an all right. It kind of got that Houston style, right? Kind of that sound, and it makes sense because Big Tony's from there, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've seen. And Nino Breeze is a new MMG member, from what I was seeing. He just signed to Ross somewhat recently, at least. So if you look him up, definitely showing MMG all over the place. And if you go to his Instagram, he's clearly affiliated now. So, but yeah, I gave it an all right. I thought it was cool. I liked it. It just didn't like blow me away like some of my favorite songs, right? But definitely not a song I'm passing over by at all. So,
okay.
Now that goes into another banger for me though. Remarkable Hustle featuring Leon Thomas. I really liked this song. I thought it had a great vibe. I liked the soulful beat that was going on, and it was kind of like I don't know if I'd say ode, right, but a lot of respect and love paid to Nipsey Hussle. So I like that a lot. So yeah, that's a banger for me. It's like I wouldn't say a soft banger. It's just not like a car, like you're not banging it out of the trunk, baby. It's not a parking lot like some of the other ones, but still a great song that I really like. So what do you think?
Yeah, I respected tribute song. I gave it all right. Just because it's definitely not a skip, but to me it's not as memorable as other tribute type songs I've heard. I think Leon Thomas could have been utilized a little bit better in this song as well. So I gave it all right. It was a beautiful tribute to Nipsey Hussle. I like Nipsey, you feel me? So, and I'm always, I always like the tribute songs as well. I think that's a good thing to always pay homage. I'm a student of the game of history, so I love keeping a person's name out there, you feel me? But it was just an all right song. It's just a little bit forgettable to me, as far as even Nipsey Hussle tribute songs. It's a little bit forgettable in that realm to me. So I gave it all right, but I can respect, giving it a banger if you felt a little bit more. Next up, we got Big Fish featuring Guap. Gucci Mane. This one I gave a all right. Ross and Gucci usually have good chemistry. Like Bye Back the Block. This was a song I liked that. But that being said, I've heard better collaborations between these two. So this was just kind of a all right, almost a filler song to me. I like I said, in this situation, I feel like Ross is like a victim of his own success, right? If anybody else, this might be elevated a little bit higher, but with these two and songs, I've heard better songs from these two. I gave it an all right. What do you think about Big Fish?
Yeah, that's fair, and I get what you're saying. That it's like, hey, sometimes you set the bar too high for yourself, and now we're getting back to it. It could be a little tricky, right? So, right. I also gave this an all right, but a little bit more on the edge of a banger. I thought that beat was really good, and like you said, it's like these guys make a great duo, and they make good music together. But it's also not the best song I've heard with them together. So I gave it an all right, but it's another solid track that happy to let play when I'm letting the album play.
Fair enough.
So the next song is Diamonds Never Die featuring Ball Greasy and Kodak Black. Now this song is interesting, right? I'm sure you got something to say. I'm gonna give it a skip, but I do appreciate the Florida connection happening again here, right? So you got Ross, you got Kodak, and you got Ball Greasy, who is also out of Florida, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Now Kodak, it's a Ross, it's an elegant Ross beat with Kodak on it. I think Kodak gave him a good verse, like a pretty solid verse. It's just the styles just weren't really meshing for me that well. So I'm giving it a skip. But I can appreciate it to a degree, and I can appreciate like the attempt, if that makes sense. And maybe it could work with a different beat or a different, whatever. But this one is just wasn't doing it for me.
Yeah, I agree. I got skip, and you're nicer than me because Kodak has no business on these classy piano beats. I don't think it was a good verse at all. That this part of what I think Paul Greasy held his own on it, considering his style is a little bit different as well. But that Kodak verse to me was fucking doo-doo, brother, bro. Like, it's incoherent. I'm not sure he's back on that dope. I'm suspect he might be lately. I don't want to but it's just he had no business on this fucking song, and it was a good beat. It's that nice fucking Maybach Music piano playing and shit. I could see fucking Mass Pike Miles singing on the hook. Is that vein, but then you throw Kodak on there and he doesn't fit, and that's kind of my problem too with the next song, which I'll go in a little bit more detail too. But that it made it a skip, bro. Otherwise than that, you probably got maybe even a slight banger, bro, because I do like that type of beat. But Kodak fucked this up, bro. To me, unfortunately. Next up, we have She's My Star featuring Young Miami. I kind of foreshadowed where I'm going with this, but this is a skip to me as well. The late great Stacey King, who was an announcer for the Chicago Bulls, he had a saying that says KYP, know your personnel, right? Young Miami has no business on another one of those type of piano type of beats. She went from talking about eating ass to rhyming shit with shit and bitch. Just bad. It's a bad verse. It's not particularly a bad song. It's not particularly a bad beat. Because once again, we beat that dead horse. Ross can pick beats, but he fumbled the ball with the personnel on this. Young Miami has no business on this song, even though it's the latest song. You could have found somebody else. Hell, throw Trina. Trina ain't doing shit much these days. She probably could have bodied this. But I gave it a skip, man. What you think about She's My Star?
Yep. I also gave it a skip. It's not too hard to figure out. I mean, to a degree, Young Miami, I don't mind her for what she does, right?
Yeah.
Like for the lane that she's in. Okay, like I could tolerate it, or I can enjoy some stuff. Don't get, and I've heard worse. But at the same time, she doesn't fit very well on this song. And like you said, with the beat and everything. And on top of that, it's maybe my second least favorite beat on the album, right after the one with the dream. It's just I tried to even like put my brain in the like, okay, take Young Miami out of this. What do you think? Still not that big of a fan, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, and I don't mean that, disrespectfully towards Ross. He's got a great ear, but this just happens to be a song that I just wasn't into either way. So it's almost like Young Miami barely even ruined it, because regardless, I just wasn't into it. So no, it's a skip from me. Although if we go into the next track, Do It One Time, featuring DJ Nasty and Young Breed, that's another skip and potentially even a step down from She's My Star with Young Miami to me. To me. I get the direction, I get the sound Ross is going for, I get the style, I get everything. I just thought it wasn't really executed that well. With the Miami shake sound, like it just that shit. I've heard so much better, and not from him particularly, but in general, that shit was a skip for me. Those are 3 back-to-back just skips for me that I don't really ever feel the urge to return to. So what do you think about Do It One Time?
Yeah, Do It One Time. I gave it all right, man. It's some Miami shit. You already hit on it. It's some Miami shit. Not my bag. But I mean, if you do something for your people, it's all right. I can't really speak on the execution because once again, it's not really my bag. You feel me? So I can appreciate the regionalness, though. I'm a big proponent of people having that regional sound. I like that in hip hop, where if different areas of the country sounds different. I think that's one of the unique things about hip hop in general. So definitely me, that probably, otherwise it'd probably been a skip if it wasn't like a regional song. It was just something he just doing as a real like track or whatever. Then it probably been a skip for me, but I can appreciate it doing it for your people, So
I even like that sound, and I just was not impressed by that track specifically. So as much as I would have, I gave it's like I already gave you the Florida points for the other 2 songs. I can't give it the third time on this.
Florida points.
I'm out of Florida points for you. Yeah, sorry. Oh shit.
I feel you. And last but not least, man, the outro track, The Algorithm. This one I gave a all right. I could see banger. The beat is fucking good to me. Decent outro. But once again, it's another one of those tracks to me that's kind of lost in translation, where like Ross has done this sound and this flow and this type of beat 50 million times, and it's just been executed better. So it's kind of like, once again, victim of your own success. So, but it's all right. Like for an outro track, I've heard way worse outro tracks. So people just throw a fucking track on. So I can respect it, but I went all right with it. What do you think about The Algorithm?
All right, yeah. Well, like you kind of alluded to, I actually went with banger on this one. I thought I'm not disagreeing with what you said, that there hasn't been better and hasn't been all that, but when I was thinking about it, my top 4 or 5 songs, The Algorithm is in there. So if I'm looking to like pull away tracks for my playlist, looking to pull away stuff to listen to later, The Algorithm's going to make the cut. So I put that as a banger for me. And like you said, a great outro. There's a lot of mediocre outros, but between the intro and outro on this album, they really bring you in and let you out in a nice way. And if you're like me and the album repeats itself, it works pretty well too. So yeah, no, I went with a banger on this one.
Okay. All right, so we get to our final thoughts as we went through all 19 tracks, and guess I'll kick it off, man. I gave this album overall a 7 out of 10. I do not think it is a bad overall release. I actually had it lower on first listen. This is one of those albums that got better as I listened to it more, which is a good thing, right? To me, I've already alluded to several times during this that just Ross just has better albums in his discography. To me, there's nothing in particular that made this release stand out for me too, like Port of Miami or God Forgives or even Rather You Than Me, which people were critical of, right? But it was always like a song, whether it's like Elvis Presley Boulevard with fucking Project Pat coming out of nowhere. It was always something signature about an album to me, and I just didn't feel anything that made it stand out from any of his other releases. And unfortunately, fair or not fair, I got to grade Ross on the curve. You have a high, at least your first half of your discography's high level shit, no matter how you feel about the outside shit, whether he was a CEO, whether he took somebody's name. Ross has always been a top tier rhymer. and he has put out pretty good albums thus far. With that being said, if this was anybody else, maybe this would be an 8, maybe it'd be closer to even a 9. But with it being Ross and things that I've kind of heard before, I got to give him a 7 out of 10. But this is, to me, an album that would be great this time of the year on the ride on South Beach. A lot of these tracks, you could just let it ride and let it flow. Out of 19 tracks, 3 or 4 skips, yeah, that's not terrible, So 7 out of 10 is what I'm going. What do you think, Obi?
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I'm feeling a little bit higher on it. I'm actually thinking I'm kind of landing on more like an 8, like you kind of mentioned. Personally, I think I might have slightly lower expectations overall for Rick Ross, personally. Okay. And I don't mean that. I've been a fan for a long time, but I still think that, like, when it comes to albums, I don't think that Rick Ross has a perfect album. There's not one where I don't skip a track. Like there's no skipless albums that I've heard. So I actually still would put this probably in the top 50% of his albums. But I have missed 1 or 2. But that said, I do agree with you that this doesn't maybe have the standout moment or a standout sound. But I do think that top to bottom, it's pretty close to being one of his better albums. Like you said, I counted it. I think I had somewhere between 4 and 6 songs that I would kind of remove, skip, whatever, and that leaves, I think I had 13 out of 19. That's not too bad in today's time. A lot of times people give you 20 track album and you're lucky if you get eight good songs out of mainstream folks nowadays. So I'm happy with the 13. I actually went into this album thinking it was going to be worse. Like, other people seemed excited. I was kind of nervous. Yeah. Personally, that cover looked a little bit AI to me, which got me a little nervous. And I'm not convinced that it's not AI. I don't know, but I'm just saying. So, and Mahogany Caskets, I was slightly mixed on, right? So I was a little trepid about getting into this album, but he actually exceeded my expectations. But again, I wasn't expecting perfection. So I'm kind of landing about an 8 out of 10 at the moment is what I'm thinking. A pretty great album. I would put, like I said, I'd put it in Ross's maybe top 4, something like that. Okay. I might not be as high on Port of Miami as you.
I got you. Fair enough. Like I said, not a bad album, man. And we thank y'all for tuning in, man. We're gonna, if y'all comment on this shit, we definitely gonna have more or whatever, but we got to give our thoughts on this one. I think it was a pretty solid release overall. We both agree that Rick Ross put out a pretty decent body of work on this, considering everything. And I love when the OGs still can do it at a high level. That is dope to me. But make sure you guys check us out, like and subscribe as always, and we will have more reviews coming for you pretty soon. So we appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure y'all check out Rick Ross, Set in Stone, and give us y'all own opinion, man. If y'all want to leave in comments, say that we were right on. If y'all want to comment, say that was trash. You know what I mean? We listen to all comments and we take it into consideration, because at the end of the day, this is music, this is hip hop, this is the shit we love, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion on the art, and we respect it. You feel me? So that's all I got, man. Appreciate you, Obi, and that's all we got, man. Till next time, we out.